because Google gives a number. Over 300 articles the last 2 days, over 500 in the last week that I just missed, saying Alex Jones is a liar, Matt Drudge is an idiot for linking to our story, and that basically there are no drones. The LA Times is schizophrenic. They have articles about America's concerned about drones. There's fear of civil liberties. They're being launched. They're being armed. The same day, they've got articles showing a grandpa shooting the weather vane and saying, I killed the drone. And his wife goes, no, you just shot the weather vane. So they've got countless articles saying it's a hoax, that 30,000 drones are being launched, that predators are in the sky. And again, this is the disdain that the corporate prostitute media has. And I don't even know how to respond to this. Here it is out of the Missoulian. Ryberg backs off claim of EPA drone surveillance. And it goes on to demonize one of the local politicians resisting it. The drone story has been circulated several days by right-wing media before Ryberg wrote Jackson. Conservative, and there's a bill in Congress trying to kill drones right now. Rand Paul's introduced, and it's getting steam. So see, there's a bill in the House, and he's trying to get one introduced in the House as well through the Senate. But the point is, they know there's a major heat. They tried to roll these out in our face. It was on every newscast out there how they're going to have weapons. They're watching you. That's the way it is. Pentagon's, the Secretary of the Army says we're going to put armed troops in every city. Council on Foreign Relations. And it didn't work. Everybody kind of got upset. Everybody got up in arms. States got mad. So they're like, wait. I actually have articles here saying none of this exists and there are no drones. This is how dumb they think you are. Here it is. And it goes on to say conservative talk show host Alex Jones published the bogus drone story on his website, Infowars.com, complete with a photograph of a military drone flying through blue skies. No, you're the liars. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Attention.
All right, for the balance of the hour, we're going to break some news right out of a science fiction movie, but it's really happening. And it needs to be investigated. The press out there that's not totally controlled and not absolute criminals working with the globalist needs to investigate this and needs to look at this. Now, just like I told you a decade ago, there was a plan to convert the entire military to drones and robots so that it wouldn't matter if the troops said no to unlawful orders. They could just have the automated systems carry it out. And now they're reporting in the LA Times and other publications that for several years, the Pentagon has had autonomous drones flying on their own, killing on their own in the sky. 30,000 drones for the U.S. skies were announced in the Washington Post. Police departments all over the United States, including 5 departments here in Texas, are getting armed drones. That is in the news. They've put in for Homeland Security grants. The system sold this to the public, and there was a backlash, so they did their old trick of saying doesn't exist. And later, I'm going to get into it, hundreds of articles, I only printed 10 or 15 or so, saying it doesn't exist and that I'm a liar. And that the EPA is not surveilling farmers. And then they go to one case and go, oh, the EPA is in their own aircraft with humans flying it, not drones. Really, I have the news articles that we link to where they've announced drone bases and that they are using drones and spy satellites. And I'm going to go over that. But instead, they just say right-wing extremist Alex Jones, he put out the article and that evil Matt Drudge picked it up. Really, I'm going to read to you Wired Magazine, Washington Post, CBS News, LA Times from the last month admitting what we reported on. I'm going to show the LA Times contradicting the LA Times. But you all saw them announce the drones. You've seen the drones. Drones are crashing all over the country and almost flying into aircraft. You know about this. I've got the London Telegraph with documents that have gone public where they're calling it the banker union, and the bankers call it their new kingdom in Europe and admit they've taken over. How many years have I told you it's a banker coup? We're right. The bought and paid for media tries to sell you on tyranny. You wake up and they come after you. There's LA Times. Police employ predator drones, spy planes on home front. Now, this is a short segment. He'll be with us to the end of the hour. He's Eric Mancow Muller, syndicated radio host. And he's got a clip that he just got where he talked to Jesse Ventura. He's going to play part of it here. He's got a program director, also a tape of that. We can get the director on if we want. We're probably going to pipe him in. He's connected with us from Chicago to our studios in Austin, Texas. And everything he's about to cover dovetails with the drones and all the rest of it. But remember, they announced years ago, and now it's the cell phones they admit listen to you without warrants. They announced, yes, the president's going to break in and force your phone to stop the call or the surfing and make you listen to a message from him. That's mainstream news. All of this is happening, and there's EAS in the satellites, the communication satellites, and at all the radio stations where the government can override and take over. FEMA, the shadow government, and most importantly, can listen for keywords with NSA software and override it. Mancow has gotten more than 50 calls, multiple program directors. I've gotten these calls as well, that when we talk about FEMA camps, it's not all stations, they're testing it. FEMA camps, emergency centers, or Ventura's show being censored, where they went in and remotely erased the information. We're going to go to Mancow right now. Mancow, we're about to go to break, but tell us what you're about to break when we come back.
Alex, this is blockbuster stuff. I mean, this is, oh my God, I'm a little bit, my hands are shaking. This is so terrifying. And you told me about this Ventura situation. We got him when he got off the plane from Mexico. He had no idea what the heck was going on. We alerted him to this. This is bigger than anybody imagined. In fact, people in TV, forget radio, people in TV didn't know the government had the powers that they have. And we're going to talk about it. I've got Jesse Ventura, his first word on it, coming up. Plus, program directors talking about how my show and your show being scrambled. I mean, good night, Irene. This is frightening.
You're right. And it's when we talk about FEMA camps. So we're going to talk to Mancow, Mancow.com.
Nobody may be hearing this right now. No, this may not even be on the radio right now.
By the way, you're going to have that Ventura clip, but you're also going to be... I know you have the tape from this morning of the program director who's too scared to talk with his name openly, but can we pipe him in live, too, in about 10 minutes?
Let me try to get him.
Okay, stay there.
Okay.
Mancow.com is the website. This is big, folks. This is the technocracy. This is the big secret they're going to use during martial law collapse. This is happening. Stay with us. Richard Nixon claimed executive privilege on lying to Congress and obstructing justice. Did it work for him? He said it's not illegal if it's illegal when the president does it. Well, now, Obama said there were no documents, but now he's saying executive privilege. He's not going to release them on shipping guns into Mexico. These are terrorists. They did this to blame the Second Amendment. Those memos got covered by CBS News, of all places. This is serious information, and Obama is backed into a corner. Now, listen. They put in EAS, expanding the Emergency Broadcast Center in 1996. Now, 2 years ago, FEMA announced, hey, the president might start popping in whenever he wants, or government at large, or your local fusion center, taking over radio, TV, and your cell phone. Now it's begun in test in New York and New Jersey this year. And by the way, folks got really mad. When you're on the phone, it drops and it takes over with text and audio and soon video. Apple's iOS 6 includes government alerts. LA Times says you cannot override the executive alerts from the criminal in chief. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is beyond 1984. Now listen, it's on record that Jesse Ventura's show got censored. Threats, Homeland Security visits. I'm not supposed to get into all of it because I was told in confidence. They erased off the DVRs by remote control the FEMA camp special. Now, Mancow, Eric Muller with his syndicated show are on a lot of the same stations, a lot of great program directors and listeners out there that like the show, that every time he talks about FEMA camps, and they've recorded this at the stations, he's played it. Every time he talks about FEMA camps, Rex 84, things like this, he gets scrambled. That's what the EAS system does when it starts to take over. Now, they've got them in the satellites, too. It's not just at the broadcast tower wired in as the final piece of equipment. This is amazing information. So I want to bring Eric Muller, Mancow.com, up here because he got a program director on this morning while I was on talking about it, and the program director was scared. I'm not saying the program director is bad, but, folks, if we give into this fear, they win. We've got to admit this is going on, just like the drones. They admit they're launching drones. There's a backlash. Legislation's introduced at the state and federal level. Suddenly, oh, they don't exist. Mancow, what's happening here? You've got the floor. Tell folks what's happening. Get to the audio clips that you have.
I have so much to talk about. Look, firstly, Alex, just minutes ago, I mean, this news broke that Eric Holder is not going to be held responsible. I know this drives you crazy. It drives me crazy when people do it. But I want to mention something quickly. Right there on your border where you broadcast, you and I have hung out there. I mean, men, women, and children were executed. They did this so that we would see children killed, right? Always for the children. Whenever a politician mentions the children, it means you're going to lose a freedom or your taxes are going up or they're going to be some kind of fine or something. They use our children against us. So this government gave guns to drug lords. Massacres happen, including our own agent, an American agent. The documents come out about Fast and Furious. They snicker that it was about the Vin Diesel movie, Fast and Furious, and executive privilege, and they do what they want, and end of story. I mean, this is frightening. Now, you tipped me off to this Jesse Ventura situation. I talked about it, how that this is the Alex, this is the story, and we'll play it here in a second, okay? And I want to say to all of your listeners, and my listeners were shocked by this. I had it on TiVo. You're my friend, you're part of it, so I have a season pass. I had it, I never got to see it. DVRs, blank DVDs, people that record these things. The government went into every home. This is a very successful show, the highest rated show on True TV. The government went into every home, went into my TiVo, and erased it. Erased this TV show that you consulted on. So we talked about it on the radio. And when we talked about it, well, they scrambled it. Now, I have on, it's actually not a program director, it's a general manager. I don't want to say who he is. He's very nervous. Because, look, these stations are licensed from the government. You have to understand, I've had government thugs come in and say, you're licensed to the government. Your mother owes this amount on her house. You have a brother that does this. You know that there's a license for his business. You know that, and that's what they do. They strong arm you so that you shut up. So I don't want to get anybody in trouble here, but this is one of the guys, of many that runs the show. Are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, I'm driving in. I'm listening to the station. It's a good interview. We're about to hear about FEMA camps. You're talking to Jesse Ventura, and all of a sudden, the station completely goes off the air. And I've just spent a lot of money on engineering work. I've had the engineers in the studio. I've had them at the transmitter site. Everything is tip top. And I get in, and the engineer running the show looks like he's seen a ghost, and he said that phone's ringing off the hook, and people are calling from all over the area saying that just as you were about to finally get to the, you guys had some chit-chat, and you talked about other stuff, and right when you get to the FEMA stuff, we were completely taken off the air, and we checked on it, and the transmitter was, powered down. Now, I'm not an engineer. I don't know what can happen, but I don't know what's going on.
I've heard this from Alex. I've heard this from 60 different people in management positions around America. Yes, you and I share several stations. Alex, can I continue?
Yes, continue with the interview.
All right. No. Look, I don't want to move in on your territory here, but let me play. I mean, we've gotten thousands of messages. I want to play some interesting messages that I received, and I also want to give out my number. We give out your website almost every day on my show. I want to give out the number if people have witnessed this or they want to add to this conversation. I want to hear from them. 877-MANCOW9, 877-MANCOW, the number 9. But
I agree. That's why I wanted to get you on today, because we've got to do a major investigation. It's admitted Homeland Security went and visited True TV and made sure it only aired once.
Right.
After the one airing, they flipped out. That's on record. That was in newspapers that the congressman admitted that he went and had Homeland Security do this. I mean, what a thug. And then it started getting erased off DVRs, and then I got internal stuff from a major city Time Warner manager that, hey, if you get calls, don't answer it, but we were ordered by the government to remotely erase all of this.
Imagine the government going into your TV, into your VCR, into your DVD player, into your DVR, and